Habari ma Africa, mimi ni King, ninafuraha kukutana na wewe. Asante kwa kutazama King Says So. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a brand new week. I hope you guys have a productive week. Today I want to cover a few topics on this Monday because you know in South African, we never run out of topics. Let me start with the South African Human Rights Commission, who have said that Gayton must number one, delete the offensive tweets and he must apologize for the racism remarks that he made on those tweets, and he must pay damages. Is Gayton going to adhere to all the findings that the Human Rights Commission might find as they are investigating him? And they say he's got up until Wednesday to respond. It's going to be very interesting to see what Gayton is going to say. Speaking about Gayton and Mabahambe, Mmusi had a comment about immigration in South Africa, the problem of immigration, people coming in South Africa, and he has taken a swipe on Operation Dudula, saying who gives Operation Dudula the powers to investigate people and ask for passports? It was very funny for me to hear that type of comment from Bossa. I'm very interested to hear why is he saying all of those things. Julius has said something that has shocked many. He has said that in Polokwane, the mayor has awarded tenders to a Zimbabwean owned organization or company, and he says that must stop. The people of Seshego must be given preference for jobs in Seshego and in Polokwane. He says the Zimbabwean people must go and work in Zimbabwe. Has the EFF taken a change of heart in terms of how they speak about their fighters and how they speak about immigration and our African people? We're going to talk about that. And also I want to close with the Africa Maibuye organization or movement has now taken its last step visiting KwaZulu-Natal. They went to all the 9 provinces. Was this successful? Is Maibuye going to be any good? After all of this, they are saying they are preparing documents. Is Floyd going to make any dent in the South African political environment? Let's talk about that, Basset, and much more.
Welcome to King Said So, Africa's one land, one language, one currency, one army on King Said So. Africans can unite. Your Pan-Africanist podcast. Enjoy.
Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King Says So. I'm your host, Kagiso Hlongwane, host is in Jiva Sono, and we're back at it again with another one. And this time around, we're covering 4 topics. Gayton, Mmusi, Julius, and of course, Floyd Nico Shivambo. It's going to be very interesting. You're going to enjoy this video. Please make sure that you click the subscribe button and hit that bell icon so that you can be notified each and every time that your boy King uploads a video. And we are still celebrating the loss of Dricus du Plessis to Khamzat Chimaev, or whoever he is from Russia. We are very happy that he beat that boy up and dominated him on ground and pound for 21 minutes in a 25 minutes fight. That was total domination, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, I want to continue to remind you guys that we need your 50 Rand contributions. Please just send your 50 Rand contributions to our bank account. That is a Capitec business account. Make sure to select Capitec business account. It's not a normal account. Or if you don't want to do that, you can go to Back a Buddy and just type Paseta and you will find our campaign there at Back a Buddy. And we will really appreciate you guys. Please go also to our website, which is www.paseta.africa. You will find us there. Go on all social media platforms, including YouTube, and search for Paseta School. You will also find us there. Thank you so much for everyone who has contribution. I always forget to ask you guys, if you want to join the Mike Hadebe campaign, please make sure you send 1,500 Rand to our account, and we will award you with a Thanksgiving gratitude certificate on your way to show that we appreciate the partnership that you have with Paseta. Now, let me get into it today because I've got a lot to cover. Let's start with the Human Rights Commission. The Human Rights Commission have said now they have prima facie evidence, and they are investigating this issue of Gayton McKenzie. But they've also went out in public to release statements about this whole thing, because people have launched, we know the EFF and Action SA and Kanking ATM, African Transformation Movement, has launched complaint against this guy and said this guy must be investigated because of these old tweets. And they have the K word, so that we cannot take lightly. It's not like he said anything else. The K word, it's a problem. So they're not investigating all the other tweets that he's doing, just this one that are infringing on human rights. I was very interested to hear what the Human Rights Commission said when they were on ENCA. Let's quickly listen to what they said.
Now, Sports, Arts and Culture Minister Gayton McKenzie has until Wednesday to respond to the SAHRC. The Human Rights Commission is investigating his social media posts from over a decade ago. The Commission has found prima facie evidence that they violate equality laws. The posts resurfaced after McKenzie threatened legal action against podcasters demeaning coloured people. The minister has apologized for the posts but denies that they're racist.
There are just two things. The number one, the offences under the Equality Act do not prescribe. That's the first thing. So they don't have a time limit, so to speak. The second thing to say is that the longer the harm it continues, the more the offense subsists. So that means that the more people can still view the post, they can still feel hurt by them, they can still feel offended. And in this case, as I said, we received a multitude of complaints where members of the public were feeling prescribed. So time is not a factor. What matters here is that the posts are still there. They continue to cause harm. And therefore, we have said to the Honorable Minister that, number one, we ask that he deletes the post. Number two, that he issues a clear public apology. Number three, that the minister undergoes a sensitivity training. And number four, that he pays damages.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I think by now Gayton McKenzie has gotten a social media expert, or someone who can handle his account, and who has went to his X account and went and deleted the rubbish that he did. For me, if I was him, to save his skin for the next time, I would delete the whole account and open a new account for him. For me, if I was advising him, I would say, my president, let's just delete this whole thing and let's just start a new account. You will get all the followers back. It's cool. It will be easy. Get a social media company that can run all of those things for you. A very interesting thing that they said there that many people don't understand is that the offense does not have an expiring date or a time limit. If you offended and you use the K word and it can be proven that you used it in 1982, in 1992, 1994, 1997, 2002, whatever, they can find that and say, this is an offensive language, and it continues to offend people till today. So the crime is continuously happening. So the more the crime, it's like the crime continues. You understand what I'm saying? I'm sure you heard what the guy from the Human Rights Commission said. So Gayton must complain, because many complaints, he says a multitude of complaints were brought forward to the Human Rights Commission, which is very good, and he must then have a clear public apology. We are waiting to see, it's this Wednesday, we are waiting to see after he comes back from the Springbok has lost, the Proteas has lost, Drickers du Plessis has lost, all of that, artificial Rainbow Nation sports have lost, and now we are back in reality. We will see if he will apologize, and he has to pay damages also. I'm very interested to hear, is he going to pay damages to King Said So, or who is he paying damages to? Because I was also offended by those tweets. We should learn to also write to the South African Human Rights Commission. But to me personally, I don't want anything from Gayton. An apology will be good enough. We continue with life, and life goes on like that. I want to speak about Mmusi Maimane. Hey, Mmusi Maimane taking a swipe on Operation Tudula. Very interesting. On immigration, Nohal. Listen to this.
The issue of immigration is an international and a global issue. Now you can respond to it in one of two ways. You can say, how do you integrate citizens who come from other countries, give them legal status, make sure they learn what needs to happen in the country? Because if I want to go live in Germany, I must learn German. I must learn German laws. I must operate the German way. So a dialogue gives us an opportunity to say, what is that way? What is the South African way? But what Dudula is doing is, frankly, in my view, bordering on racism. Because it is going out, identifying people illegally. How does it, what power does Dudula have to verify papers of immigrants? It doesn't. So it goes out, it prescribes who is an immigrant, who's not, and then at the end of the day uses that to scapegoat citizens who come from other countries for government failures. What we should be doing coming out of this is to say, in dealing with the question of immigration, how do we integrate? But more crucially, let us stop ourselves in places where you can have communities that become exclusively about nationalities. You don't want little Lagos, or you don't want little Malawi, or whatever. You want integration. That's my view on immigration. Because then you can share knowledge and you can be part of this beautiful African continent.
Okay, guys, you know, hi. Mmusi Maimane made a comment about Julius Malema. He said to Julius Malema, Julius is the voice of black people in South Africa. I think that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to be the voice of reason to Africa. He, in the same interview, I think he expresses, listen, I've got interest to go into Africa and do business. He's probably speaking on his personal, ambitions in expanding to Africa. We know people like our Gayton Mackenzie got rich by through Zimbabwe and other parts of Africa where they were doing mining. So it's very interesting to hear Mmusi saying this, even though I agree with him. Mmusi Maimane. Those who are illegal, open up Home Affairs, special Home Affairs, and have them documented, all of them. And say, listen, people, we want you guys to be documented. You need to have some type of documents run to Home Affairs. Because if after this period of time, if we find you with no document or no permit in South Africa, all hell is going to break loose. And I agree with those things of saying let's give them a legal status, those who are already in the country, and those who are coming into a country say, we are not going to tolerate anyone jumping the border illegally. We need to know whoever. You guys have heard me speak multiple times about the advanced integrated border system. You guys have heard me a million times speak about it. I don't agree with Operation Dudula going to the clinics and turning even South Africans away by checking documents. Where's your ID? I don't walk around with my ID. Maybe you guys walk around with your ID. When I go to the doctor, I don't walk around with the ID. I don't. I just walk there, say my name, they go and fetch my file somewhere, and I go in. This thing of people being checked at the door is crazy. But I see for Operation Dudula, it's working because there's many videos that are coming out with clinics that are basically empty. So for Operation Dudula, they are doing a good job for themselves. March for March is also doing a good job according to them. And you ask yourself, who funds these people? Who funds these people? Because activism without funding dies off quickly. They've been pushing since March. We in August now, and they are still pushing. So very interesting. Tell me what you think about what Mmusi Maimane said there. I want to jump to Julius Malema. He had a celebration rally there in Seshego, celebrating the award that they won there. Ward Yakhanchiza, very good, very well done for the EFF, because that's the ward where Julius Malema stays. They can't lose that ward. It's like Zuma losing Kandla. It's not good. So he said something there about Zimbabweans, and some people are making noise on social media saying that he is now changing his tune according to what he said. Let's listen to him and make a judgment.
So Seshego aremeng ka maoto a hona motho a tlo rintsha mo bothateng ba John Mpe ke rena re tlo kentšha mo bothateng ba John Mpe because ke rena re ke tsentšhitše mo bothateng. Motho o tšere ditendera ka moka o tšo fa maZimbabwe jaaka mo Polokwane bana ba bo rena ba kere mešomo e filwe maZimbabwe a re gane gore maZimbabwe ba fiwe mešomo mara a ba fiwe mešomo le bona dimasepaleng tša bo bona Harare le ana mo go gongwe le rena re kere mešomo mo dimasepaleng tša rena gape re nyaka mešomo mo re patelang di-services a re gore a re nyake maZimbabwe re rao rena re swantše re beiwe pele ga everybody else e be rena re kry-a mešomo ka mo Polokwane and not mešomo ya go tsamayalana le thobalano ba re pele ba o fa mošomo ba nyaka go robala le wena taba newe a re inyake.
Okay, I want to approach this in two ways. There is those who will obviously criticize Julius Malema for this, who will say, no, stick to your African stance and, stand up for foreigners, don't care about South Africans. And that's not a true notion against Julius, but that's the perspective that people have about him. Okay. And the other side, I'm going to say, okay, he has changed his tune and he's saying, South Africans must be put first. Let's play with the two. The first one is, as a Pan-Africanist, there's a thin line that you are walking that South Africans don't want you to cross. Very thin line. Whenever it is South Africa against everybody else in Africa, South Africans want to feel that you, as a South African, you are on the side of South Africa. You are not on on another side. That is why we were angry at that loser, Utrikes du Plessis, when South Africa was being attacked and threatened with sanctions. He stood up and supported Elon Musk and Donald Trump. That was very uncalled for. So now, Julius, numerous times have said Africa must be one. We must have one Africa, one president, one currency, one military central base, and all of those things. If you think like that as a Pan-Africanist, you are going to have difficulty to be harsh on the African brothers because nobody knows what the future holds. If that Africa that we are envisioning happens in our lifetime, Julius Malema is going to be one of the names that is going to be named as the leaders that can lead Africa. So you have to tread carefully. You don't want to offend the other African countries, but you also don't want to offend your people. So in the previous election, 2024, many people have blamed, have said they don't vote for the EFF because of their immigration stance, because they said, listen, these people want open borders, they want whatever. So now he's saying, let South Africans be given preference. Let the Zimbabweans get jobs in Zimbabwe. You guys know the tender situation where I'm sure you guys have read about that, what happened there in Polokwane. But he's saying, let's now focus on the people here. Let the people here eat. But he does not say Zimbabweans must not eat here. He says if Zimbabweans must get jobs, they must get them in Zimbabwe. In other words, mabahambe. In other words. So if you are hating Julius Malema for the open border, now he's closing the borders, are you going to support the EFF? That is the question. Because many people hated the EFF and Julius for only that one reason. So now that reason is seemed to be placed aside, and you can't tell me since ever the elections that you have heard them saying anything about open borders. I have not heard a word. Since after the elections, the EFF was like, okay, South Africans don't want this, the South Africans want this, let's do what South Africans want. Not changing in principle, but saying, let's listen to what these people are saying. So now we are saying, let the Zimbabweans get the jobs in Zimbabwe and let you South Africans get jobs here in South Africa. So if the question then remains, if the immigration and integration of Africa and the unity of Africa, if Pan-Africanism is placed aside, do you or do you not vote for the EFF? That's the question. That's a question that you guys need to answer for yourself. Or do you just hate Julius in JPL? Answer that question. I want to close with Maibuye. Maibuye was in KwaZulu-Natal. They went to every province. All 9 provinces had a trip going around consultations. Some consultations were good. Some were very small, and some were very big. Some were well organized. Some were not so well organized. Some they were taking excellent videos. The others, lately they've been taking rubbish videos and pictures. It's just all of those things that has happened. But I'm sure a learning curve for the Maibuye team. A lot of things have happened. We have seen people jump on the wagon as they were going from province to province. People coming from MK and joining what Floyd is doing. Let me tell you something about South African politics that you guys, I'm sure you are aware of. It's no longer about ideology. It's no longer about the 7 cardinal pillars. No. In the 2024 elections, one thing that I experimented with in terms of studying South African electoral system is that votes can be bought. We had a political party that was, I think, 5 months older than the MK. You guys still remember Rise Mzansi? Just a few months older than the MK political party. They got a seat in parliament. Votes can be bought. They are in the government of national confusion. Votes can be bought. Votes can be bought. Once you have financial resources in South Africa, I guarantee you at least one seat. If you have millions in your pocket, it's a guarantee. I don't care who you are, because you guys did not know Smongelo now or whatever is the president of Rise Mzansi. You guys don't know who that guy is. He came out of nowhere, being funded by the Oppenheimers. You guys knew nothing about that guy, and people voted for that party. How is that even possible? It doesn't make sense. So, no matter what Floyd does, if Floyd does not have money, Floyd is not going to succeed. If Floyd has money, Floyd has a chance. If Floyd has money, he has a chance. That is how the PA was formed. It was through the pockets of Gayton and Kenny. Once you have money and your foundation is laid properly, you can win a award. Now you can be somewhere in a province, somewhere national, if you have money. We saw the parties that have the best ideology, Azapo and the PAC, suffering because of lack of finances. So South African politics is about finances, and that is how the ANC kept on winning multiple times, because they had the financial resource to fund their campaign, and that is how they keep on winning by elections. It's not because they are the best political party. Nobody knows, and nobody does not know here in the community, because the ANC is making us suffer. But because of the finance that they have, they can win a what? They can win a municipality. They can win the province. It's money. Can't tell me now there's someone who can come here on King's SO or stand in public and say, I'm voting for ANC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's because of this I'm voting for ANC. And that person makes sense. There isn't. It's just well-funded machines. So in my boy, they're going to be drafting their funding documents and everything. They'll be doing all of those things. We'll be breaking all of that down. But I'm telling you, I hope tomorrow today they're meeting with Silo there of the Zulu Kingdom, the King Mmusi Zulu. They are meeting with him there, and they will be talking to. It's all about money. It's all about money. It's about, when you go to the king, you don't go empty-handed. You have to do something there. So, yeah, that's my take on my buye. The process, it was necessary for my buye. It was necessary. Floyd couldn't have started a party and just stand in the corner. Now he can claim to say, hey guys, I went all around South Africa. We consulted and this is what South Africans say. Here is the document. Only to find out that document was drafted long time ago. Hey, yeah, no, hey, politics. Hey, guys, thank you so much, guys. Please leave your thoughts on the comment section. Don't forget to click the subscribe button. Let's get to 60,000 subscribers before December, guys. I will appreciate 60 before December, and we will work next year to another target. Until we meet again, don't forget to pray. But after you pray, stand up, African champ. Do your best so that God can do the rest. Peace and Pan-Africanism. I salute you.